So this is very off the cuff. I saw a video this morning from Red Mage GM talking about dice, and I was, I suppose, challenged to talk about dice. I'm not what I would consider, what some I think would consider a dice goblin or a dice dragon, but I've been in the hobby a long time, and I am something of a pack rat. So I have ended up with a lot of dice, as a lot of hobbyists do. So I'm going to just do a quick tour of some of my dice. I think I will show off some of my favorites. I'm not going to go into some of the box sets like I'm looking at Dreams and Machines and Star Trek Adventures and some like that. I think maybe, I don't know, I want to say either my Call of Cthulhu dice or RuneQuest dice are maybe still in the box. I'm not sure. Some stuff like that I'm not going to bother to touch on. I will show off a quick thing of the Alien RPG dice with the, is that a, oh, it's a face hugger on the one on the stress dice. And I guess that's it. Not really the specialty thing on here. It's just the success for sixes. Anyway, but the alien dice are kind of cool. I really like the alien dice system. My two most actively used D6 right now are some Traveler D6s, thanks to my friend from RPG Imaginings. He's been running Traveler for myself and a couple of other folks. So for, gosh, I think we're rounding out 2 years, maybe heading into a third, something like that. My math skills are terrible. So Traveler dice, they're just, standard six-sided, but they've got the cool, like that Traveler Starburst thing around them. So my kind of regular dice in here, I've got a mix of a bunch of weird stuff. So I have this six-sided die that I got in, I think in Sweden. I can't remember if it was in Denmark or Sweden, but I think it was in Sweden. No, I think it was in Denmark, in Helsingør, I think. We went to both places on the same trip, and now I'm having a hard time remembering. I get these, I did an unboxing of these quite a while ago, but these are D4 on a 12-sided dice. I really like these with the Roman numerals. I've got a bunch of funky dice, like this one's a 24-sided, I think. This is for DCC. Got a couple of 24-sided. It's got a 30-sided here. This is a 5, so it's on a 10-sided die, but 1 to 5 twice. What's this one? I think is a 16. Yeah, 16. Hope these are showing up. 14. Nope. Also 16. Interesting. I didn't realize there were two 16-sideds like that. 3-sided. Also with the Roman numeral. I think all my 3-sided have Roman numerals. I don't know what the deal with that is. Here's a 14. 14-sided die. And a 7-sided. I've actually, a bunch of them are DCC dice. Some I just got in some random thing of weird sizes and shapes. But I found them kind of useful for like when I want to randomize attacks on party members, to have lots of different size dice so that I can roll for that. These, I think, may be my original D100 setup. I think this might be after I switched from using just two different colored D10s, which is what I used for a long time. I think these might be my first percentile dice that I bought. I never really was into, I don't even remember them selling a lot of stuff in sets when I was first buying dice. I think a lot of it was just, you had a tray and you just bought the dice that you wanted. But I didn't try to really assemble sets for a long time. I just got whatever color I liked. So I liked this kind of dark blue speckled with a lighter blue writing on it. I like this hideous green. I think I got this when I was maybe playing Deadlands Hell on Earth. I feel like that might be true. I have it 8-sided like that. But oddly enough, some of my favorite D6s are just these simple blue and green. And they're kind of a flat matte kind of color. Yeah. Oh yeah, the first time I actually bothered to get matching dice is in my D100 here. So these are probably my most commonly used dice. That's why I've got them in this container that I can carry around with me easily if I want to. For an odd set, I've got fudge dice with your pluses, minuses, and nothing at all. And I have those, what is this, black, green, and gray are my 3 colors. I bought those, I want to say, there was the game The Puddle, I think, which was, there was like The Puddle, The Pool, I don't know. I didn't really follow a lot of this stuff because a lot of it was online at a time where I was not. But I think it's where Fate eventually kind of came from, kind of evolved out of all of that, I think. I could be wrong on that. Oh, this is, it's a D2 or a coin. These are some of my like historic / fantasy coins, which I'm hoping to use like as luck points or whatever in games. So that's not really dice. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what's in all of these bags. Oh, these are. I think I was too cheap to buy the Rory's Story Cubes, but these are different, similar idea storytelling dice. With all sorts of different things. You've got different kinds of transportation. You've got, I don't even know what these are. We've got somebody's questioning, somebody's maybe falling off of something, trapped in a box. There's a sort of Halloween themed. This just has a bunch of characters. I suppose I could like roll for NPCs or something. This looks like murder weapons, maybe. Shovel, book, mirror, drugs, axe. So anyway, a bunch of these story cubes, which I thought would be fun for generating potential plots or whatever, just when you have certain ideas. And then also in here I have some other random stuff, and I think these are more like environmental type dice. Yeah, so we have these boy, they're really not showing up. These are like different things you might put on a map. Kind of dungeon terrain, it looks like. Weather. Attitudes. Directions. Northwest, etc. This looks like items. Yeah, like a helmet, coins, potion, scroll. And this looks like dungeon tiles, sort of. Rooms, T intersection, maybe. I bet that T is a trap. So, I guess for if you want to randomize a dungeon, I want to try to make sure that weather is an important part of the next. If I run like a Shadow Dark or something game, I don't know what this is. Oh, I think this is just yeah, I found a batch of really cheap dice at one point. Sets. It was a bunch of different sets. Boy, that's not showing up. I do kind of like this color. I think this ended up being the color that my wife chose. Is that going to show up? But I decided to get a bunch of cheap dice sets so that I could have them for some friends who occasionally would join me to play some Call of Cthulhu or whatever. So What do we have in here? This is not dice. It's uh, Norse runes. I want to see if I have any more dice in here. This is fake jewels for more handout sort of thing. Yeah, that's what that feels like, is more that sort of thing. So not dice in there. So then I have what I really like is this storage container. This was the packaging for some game that came in when I was working at a place and it was defective. So I ended up getting the package because it was very cool and it became my dice box. So what do I have in here? I was actually just kind of sorting through my dice the other day. I have these FPG. I think this was a game company, but I don't remember what these dice were from. They're kind of cool looking. I just have a set of them. I don't know why. This 20-sided die, I think this was a free RPG day. Yeah, free RPG day, 20-sided. Free RPG day, 6-sided. Couple of Lord of the Rings dice. I don't remember where these came from. They've got the Eye of Sauron. I don't know if these were involved with the card game, maybe? I really don't know. Oh, these are the dice that came along with Ripped Crypt when the creator of that game sent me a review copy. I got these cool dice with that. I don't know if I talked about that when I did the unboxing. I really should have. I don't feel like I did as good a job with that as I should have. Oh, these are the dice from RuneQuest. So they're in here for some reason. Here's 2 more sets that I got when I was buying cheap dice sets. Don't remember where these came from. And let me see if I have anything interesting in here. I do have a few interesting objects. A couple of 30-sideds, because you got to have your 30-sided dice. Some more odd numbered dice. I think 24-sided here. I got a few sets for playing Dungeon Crawl Classics. I don't care for this style of 5-sided die. I don't know if it rolls better than the... No, it could. I'm sure it doesn't. The 10-sided with the 1 to 5, 1 to 5, I just feel like it's better, but whatever. There's also a 7, I think, a 7-sided die that's a similar shape to this, which I don't care for. So for really weird, this is one of the few sets I bought way back in the day where I actually intentionally purchased a set of dice. I think that's it. And it's these jewels, I guess. You got 4-sided, 6-sided, looks like 8-sided. The percentiles, 12-sided, and then the 20-sided die. I've not really used these. I feel like I probably should try to at some point. I don't really know how they roll. Most of the rest of this is basic dice. Some of the sort of weirder, quirkier ones. This may be I think this is my first 4-sided die that I had, and I believe I inherited this either from my dad or from one of my brothers. It's chipped and kind of rough looking, but this is like an old D&D die. And I have some other sharp-edged old-style dice like that. A couple of 8-sideds. Another 4-sided that I think is from a similar era. It has the clipped ends, though. I don't know if that was original or not. These 2 tiny 20-sided dice. I think this came from... So it was like a GURPS parody game, Twerps, I think, maybe. I think that might be where these came from. Another 8-sided with the sharp edges. I don't like the sharp edge dice. I think I just kind of keep them out of a sense of sort of nostalgia. That might be it for that sort of thing. So otherwise, I just have mostly just a bunch of generic dice. My friend Rob, who passed, here's a 3-sided die with numbers instead of with Arabic numbers instead of Roman numbers. My friend Rob, who passed, as I mentioned, he sent me years ago a whole bunch of percentile dice because I think I only had the 2 sets and I was going to be running Call of Cthulhu for folks. And he had bought like a big bushel of dice at some point, and he sent those to me. I have these purple 20-sideds, which I actually like, and I have no idea where they come from, but I have a bunch of them. Same with these blue and red. I don't know if these came from a game. Never really sure. And I inherited a lot. It's like a lot of stuff with my game collection. I inherited it, or I bought somebody's collection cheap when they were getting out of it, different things like that. So anyway, that's my little dice collection. It's not as extensive as some, but it's more than I need, and I probably should cull some of it, hand it off to some younger players or what have you. Oh my gosh, if this game that I am supposed to be running ever really gets off the ground, I think I might do just that. Hand off some of these, try to make some sets or make some extras for folks. Like if the kids have the basic D&D dice, you can always use extra 6-sideds. You can always use some extra 10s here or there, depending on what you're playing. So we'll see. Anyway, that's what I got. Thank you, Red Mage DM, for showing us your dice. You've got some cooler ones, definitely, that I've got, but it's not a contest. And thank you for that and encouraging me to chat about these. I don't think I've really done any kind of look at dice on here, so that's what I've got. Hey, do you have dice that you like particularly? Do you have any of those like extravagant, wild ones? I saw at one point, I think it was Jenny D joking about the die that she has it's like magnetic and floats. Maybe it wasn't Jenny D. Maybe it was Seth Gorkowski. Somebody was talking about it, like how it was an absolutely ridiculous thing to have, but they still enjoyed having it. I mean, I've been tempted to pick up like the D20 ice block, the little silicone shape. I've been tempted a couple of times. I haven't gotten it, and I don't need to. I am a little annoyed with myself that I didn't just bite the bullet and get the D20 popcorn container when the Dungeons and Dragons movie came out, because I was at an AMC and they had it, and I could have easily acquired it. I mean, I'm not too proud, but I just was like, what do I care? And then later on, I'm like, oh man, that would have been really cool, though. That would have been really cool. But anyway, what's your dice collection look like? Let me know. And until next time, take care.